Hello. Howdy. My name is Sharon.
I use these flowers for healing, for skin, for any kind of like infection or burn. And I mix it with traditional plants that grow that are indigenous to North America. Calendula is from France. But calendula is one of the only plants that works when you make it in an oil base for cow parsnip burns. Now, when you get the juice of cow parsnip on your skin, the sun, the oil of your skin, it turns into a caustic acid and it burns and it's painful. And what I discovered was this calendula oil was the only thing that stopped the burn. Ever since then, I grow this plant and I mix it with yarrow or rose petals, and I will make a healing salve for any kind of skin thing, or just because, for wrinkles and moisturizing your skin after being out in the sun.
I relearned a lot of different things I saw my parents do when I was a kid, and I teach it because I believe that the next generation needs to know this so that they can go out there and use it, and it'll still be there for their kids and their kids after that. And anything we do on the land, we have to think about 7 generations after us. So we try not to do too much damage when we're out there. And if you waste, that was like a real like bad energy, like if you waste stuff, like it might not be there the next year or the next time you want to go gather. We didn't overstay in any one particular area because we didn't want to overuse the resources in one spot. So once game got hard to get, and some of the foods and medicines, we moved on. So we never did fish too long in one lake. We have different lakes. There's lots of trails that we went from different place to place. A lot of different things are for inflammation or pain. Late Sophie Thomas used to make a mixture of 7 different things that she called the power of 7. And before she passed on, she changed it up and added 3 more things that she called the power of 10. But that was her mixture that she gathered together and made, and she used for cancer treatment. In the old days, we never had a lot of people that had cancer. But with modern food and all the additives, monosodium glutamate and bacon and a lot of the preservatives, so we've got a lot of health troubles because of modern day diets. Going to the store to buy chicken. We ate a wild grouse. There's 2 different grouses that we ate, that we still eat. And in my territory, there's quite a lot of grouse. So we didn't have a lot of additives, and nowadays it's like too easy. People go to the store.
This is alder. We use the bark for like rheumatism and arthritis, but also when the alder's thicker and bigger, we'll use the real big ones for smoking and drying our meat and our fish, and it gives it a taste. But this is just one of the medicines that we use. There's another one right here, and this is willow bark. And modern day aspirin was made to mimic this plant. Now, modern day aspirin has coal tar in it, and it eats a hole in your gut. This doesn't have coal tar in it, and it does what modern day aspirin does for you, whether it be fever, pain, inflammation. My elders will make a tea from this, and if the person doesn't want to drink it, they'll dip a cloth in it, and they'll they'll put it against, with their arm or shoulder or back if they've injured their back. But these are just 2 plants that we use. And this is one of the power of 7 that's in late Sophie Thomas's remedy.
A lot of our young people are, some of the people don't really want to go out, but the younger ones in school now, they really want to learn. We're doing hunting camps, we do berry camps. I take people out and gather different, like whether it be berries, whether it be Labrador tea. We drank a lot of traditional plants around for our tea. We didn't have coffee. We didn't have tea, like I ordered tea from Metropolitan Tea Company out of Toronto. My black tea. But in the old days, we drank, our form of black tea was the tips of the top 4 layers of the fireweed flowers. We dried them, and that was like a black tea. In Europe, those leaves are sold for tea, and you can't keep, like they just sell right out. So there's many different things that we did that is slowly coming back. A lot of our young people are really truly interested and hungry to learn these things. When we dried our Saskatoons, because Saskatoons were always there when other berries were, like where I'm from in the Tsilqot'in, we don't have huckleberries and we don't have wild blueberries, but we have our Saskatoons, we have our soapberries, and we always dried these berries and we mixed it with bear fat and dry meat, and we ground the meat and we ground the berries and we mixed it in with melted fat, and then we make little patties, and that was our travel food for when we were going from place to place. When the hunters went out hunting, they would take a little bit, and a little bit was, you don't need, they never had to take very much of these little patties when they left or when they were traveling, because a little bit went a long way. In this area, there's wild hazelnuts that grow, and a handful of hazelnuts out of the shell. If I don't feel like eating meat, I'll eat a handful of nuts, and that's enough protein, like for an 8-ounce steak, or eating like, instead of moose meat or deer meat, a piece of meat like that, I could eat a handful of hazelnuts and I can still get my protein that way. So there are many different things that we could eat like that, and survive and be healthy. The sugar diet nowadays, like we didn't have sugar, we had honey. So if you were lucky enough to find honey, we would have honey. So today's sugar diet has caused a lot of problems because people don't want to eat anything that's not sweet. And the modern day spraying, they're spraying our forests to kill all the understory. They're spraying alongside of the roads to get rid of these weeds that invasive species, they call them. But our bears eat along the roads in the spring. Our deer and our moose eat along the roads in the spring. Those sprays end up in the fat, and they change the DNA of the plants even. And well over 10 years after a spray, you will still see that spray in the DNA of the plant. And we eat the fat from the animals. We use it for mixing our medicines together, so your skin's like a sponge. You're getting that stuff through your skin. You're eating it. There's a lot that's done that impacts our health and some of the things that we use to survive. And as a traditional wildcrafter or a gatherer of foods and medicines, it's harder for us to find food and medicines in an area that hasn't been sprayed. But you don't think of that when you're driving down the road on a Sunday or a Saturday. When you see stuff and you're thinking, oh, look at that, my medicine or my food, And so, those sprays aren't necessary. They're not needed even. We survived for many years without it, and stuff still grew, stuff still flourished. And, the modern thinking is not always good.